Hello, future Becca editing this. Hi, beautiful people. So this is going to be my second video in my Why I Believe series. The first was Why I Believe Even Though We Can't See God, and today's is going to be Why I Believe Even Though We Can't Hear God. Alright, so we cannot audibly hear God the way that you can hear me talking to you right now. But I do believe that God speaks to us in other ways. I think that creation is one of the loudest ways that we can hear God. Because if you look around, the world screams of a creator. It screams of someone who made all of this. Just because of how intricate some little things can be and how massive other things can be. I don't think that any of this came from nothing. That's just what I believe. And I think that looking around at creation screams of the fact that God is real and that he made all of it. But personally in my life, I've had a lot of really cool things happen that I believe are God speaking to me. And the ones I'm going to list are just a couple of them, but there have been a lot of different ways that he's spoken to me, or at least I believe that it's him speaking to me. So starting with devotionals, I have been reading devotionals before, and I've opened up to the exact page that it said, like say August 22nd, and I've opened up to it, and I've read it. And it has been exactly what I needed to hear that day. Like, literally, it felt like that book was speaking only to me. Along these lines, I've been in church before where I've been surrounded by hundreds of other people who are also in the church. And the pastor was giving a message. And I have felt like he was just talking to me. Like, because of what was going on in my life and in my heart, maybe things I was struggling with or like things that God was teaching me already, I have felt like the pastor was just talking to me because of the way it was so aligned with what God was already teaching me in my life when I was alone at home. Like in church, I felt like the pastor was just talking to me. And then the other one, which is really cool, is that I've had people come up to me and tell me things that only God knew that I needed to hear. Like I had told no one what I was going through, no one what I was thinking or struggling with, whatever it would have been in the situation. And people have said things or texted me things like the moment I needed to hear it. And they didn't even know what I was going through or what I was dealing with. And all of these things, just for the record, they weren't broad things that could have been applied to everyone. Like the things that happened were so specific and so perfect with the timing that I can't believe that it was a coincidence. God is not limited to just speaking through people or just speaking through books. He can speak to you through anything, through letters, TV shows, songs, movies, whatever it might be. God can speak to you through things. God is not limited to one thing or one person. He can speak to you through anything at any time. So all we have to do is open up our ears and our hearts to hearing from him. So this one might be weird if you aren't a Christian, but just hear me out, okay? I have heard this small, quiet voice in the back of my head many times, and I've tried to figure out what it was other than God, okay? And I cannot figure out what else it would be besides him, because this voice wasn't speaking words of discouragement or anything bad at all. It was peace, it was comfort, it was love, and those are all things that God is. And like I said, I've tried to figure out what else it could be, but there's no way it could be anything else other than this being that's higher than us, right? That can understand me, understand my thoughts, and be inside of me. I know that probably sounds weird if you're not a Christian, but just please listen to the rest of this, okay? I have had this happen many times where I have just been doing whatever, you know, in class or sitting on the couch just doing nothing, and I felt like all of a sudden, all of this information just hits me, like gets laid on my heart, and I just feel the need to write it all down. This has happened so many times. It happened this morning. Okay, let me show you. All of this right here came from today, this happening this morning. I was going to film a completely different video. Like I had planned to sit down and film today, but I was not going to do Why I Believe Even Though We Can't or Hear God. I was going to do something completely different. But all of this, I just felt it hit me. It was like, write this down right now, Becca. And so I did. And during those moments, my heart is like pounding. I'm so excited. Like I just write it all down, and I don't think that that's coming from my brain. I have faith that that's God laying that all on my heart, speaking to me. Like I was literally just sitting on the couch this morning doing devotionals, and all of a sudden it was like, Becca, you gotta write this down. What I just said, like sitting on the couch and having information laid on my heart, has happened so many times, and every single time, probably like 99% of it, God has said, make a YouTube video about this, and I have. And what's so stinking cool is the day that I post the video, people write in the comment section, almost every single video that I post, someone says, Becca, I needed it to hear this today. So it wasn't just like a week or a month after I posted it. It was the day I posted it. Someone said, I needed to hear this today. And I know that that is God working out his plans, working out his timing, and like speaking to people at the exact right moment when they needed to hear it. It is so cool to get to be a part of that. And I can just tell you, like, it's not me coming up with all this stuff, because when I watch videos back, I'm like, where did that all come from? I didn't come up with that. It was someone else laying it onto my heart, and I have faith that was God doing that. So I said like a little bit ago that there were a couple stories I was going to share of people who like spoke to me at the exact time that I needed it. And I'm going to share a couple of those because these happened kind of recently. Actually, just kidding. One happened a long time ago, but whatever. So recently, I was having a really rough day, like rough. And I had only told my parents that I was having this rough day. Like, none of my friends knew about it. I had just talked to God about it, and I had been praying about it, saying, Lord, this sucks. Like, I'm really struggling right now, and been very vulnerable with him and with my parents, but I hadn't told anyone else. And about an hour after I had called my parents and talked to them about what was going on, a friend of mine texted me, and he was like, hey Becca, I was just wondering if there's anything that I could be praying for you for. And that was like a random text. Like, we hadn't been texting that day. He randomly texted me that. He may have thought it was just a nice thing to do, or like a random act of kindness or whatever, but it was not random. It was exactly what I needed. We ended up talking, he called me, and I felt so much better after that. After that phone conversation, I felt so much peace in my heart, and God is the God of peace. And so I know that that was him. That was him bringing me that peace. So another time back in high school, this is the one that was a little while ago, I am almost positive that I was a junior in high school, but I could have been a senior. I don't really know. Whatever. It was a while ago. So I, at the time, was struggling hardcore with acne, like all over my face, like huge ones, not just like little like whiteheads that you can pop. Like, I'm sorry to be gross, but like they're the big ones that I had to take acne medication for. It was pretty bad. Like, it was everywhere, and it's not fun memories, but like that happened. I struggled with acne. There was one day where I was very down. I felt not pretty at all. I just was not doing well because I didn't feel pretty, so I didn't feel good about myself, you know? There's just those days where if you don't look good, then you don't feel good, and that was one of those days. And that night, I will never forget this. This was 4 years ago. My friend texted me. Her name was Paula. I've talked about her before. She texted me and said, hey Becca, I just wanted you to know that you are so beautiful. You looked really pretty today, and I love you. That happened 4 years ago, and I have not forgotten about that. She did not know that I was having a really bad day. She did not know that I was feeling not pretty. She did not know that I just was really down. Like, I didn't tell anyone that I was feeling that way. The only one who knew that I was feeling that way was God. And he laid it on her heart to text me, and she did. And I felt so much better after that. Those are just two stories of how God has spoken to me. I could tell you for hours stories of how he's spoken to me through other people. But I'm gonna stop there because this video could go on forever. But God is always speaking, and it's been so cool to just watch and hear him encouraging me through other people, him comforting me through other people, him bringing me his peace through other people. Okay, to kind of stop the video really fast and just say a disclaimer, I want you to know that everything that I'm saying to you is completely true. Like, these are my testimonies of how God has spoken to me, but I don't want you to feel like, okay, now I want to try this. I want to test God to see if he can prove himself to me and do the things that he's done for Becca in my life. Like, I don't want you to feel like you should test God to see if he's real, to test him, to see if he can prove that he's real. The Bible is very clear that we are not allowed to test God. We're not supposed to test God, okay? We cannot do that. God will do these things in your life if you just wait and have the faith that he can do it. Just believe that he can do it, and he will do it. But yes, so God can't speak to us audibly, right? But that doesn't mean that he's not speaking to us. Not only does creation scream of a creator, but he can speak to us in so many other ways too. Through other people, through books, through movies, anything. God is not limited to speaking through one person or through one thing. God can speak through anything. Just open your ears and open up your heart to hearing from him, and you will. Have a great day, and know that you are so loved and so beautiful.